Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving and Black Friday. I know I certainly did, along with eating Thanksgiving dinner with my family as well as working. I spent one of the rest of the days seeing the new Ridley Scott historical epic Napoleon. And in all honesty, I have been amped about this movie ever since I saw the official trailer drop back in July. So of course I was anxious to see this movie when it came out, as well as get a review done on it. So the movie tells the story of Napoleon Bonaparte and his days as a French officer in the military, and also follows his rise to power to becoming king, emperor, or tyrant, because some people did see him in that sense. The movie doesn't follow his whole life, just mainly the important parts, but it also tells things that I'm sure a lot of people who did go see this movie didn't know about him, and it's done in terrific fashion. The movie actually takes place in the middle of the French Revolution, and what we actually see is called the Reign of Terror. We actually see a woman being carted off to be guillotined, and Napoleon is there watching the incident happen. It was actually Marie Antoinette was the one who was getting her head cut off, and we all know she wasn't remembered in a good way. That's about as in-depth as I want to get into the plot, because I don't want to get in too in-depth for people who haven't seen this movie yet. So just saying that it takes place first starts in the middle of the French Revolution and then builds up from there. That's just as much as I want to go without spoiling anything. Let's first get into the cast, of course, because they're the real highlights of this movie. Let's first start with our main character, Napoleon Bonaparte, who is played by Joaquin. And let's just say he is amazing. He plays a great Napoleon, though I had a feeling he was going to be amazing from the start, just from when I saw in the trailer. But this role, the way he plays Napoleon, it kind of feels like Commodus from Gladiator. I'm pretty sure you guys remember that movie, when he was both a ruler and a tyrant there as well. But this role, it was like way, way better. He really put more than 110% into this role. He really projected his appearance. Like, he made his presence known, like he was the biggest man in the room, even though he obviously was not. Napoleon has been referred to as short when he was actually average height, but whenever we saw him, he really projected his appearance, like making sure his voice was being heard, and anybody who got in his way, he pushed aside right away. Vanessa Kirby, she was also great as well. Her character, Josephine, she was like a very, I don't want to say complex. She was a very complex character, in my opinion, and her relationship with Napoleon was often tense, but seeing how things went down, that made even their relationship more interesting to watch. So, I think it was what really sold this movie more than anything was the chemistry that Kirby and Phoenix brought together. That was what really sold this movie here. Moving on now to the battle sequences. If I could summarize them up in one word, it would be epic. But, then again, it's a Ridley Scott movie, so, I was kind of expecting that from the start. I don't know how many who are watching have seen a Ridley Scott movie. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen at least one Ridley Scott movie in their time. But when it comes to a movie like this, like, when he does a movie, an action movie, and it's like you see like these big open areas, and that's where all the fighting is going down. The choreography is just amazing. And I'm referring to movies not just like Napoleon, with open spaces like Gladiator or Black Hawk Down. The open area and the way it's choreographed, it feels like a drug. It's like once you see one, you want more, a lot more. It's too bad that we didn't actually get as many battle sequences. I was expecting maybe a couple more. There were only, I think 3 or 4 big action sequences, like the one I was just describing, with the open world and everything and the big open spaces. But, this movie was mainly not just supposed to focus on Napoleon's life as a military general, but also supposed to focus on his life himself as a man. So there was that as well, but it would have been nice to get 1 or 2 more battle sequences out of this movie. But still, from the ones that I did see, it's still pretty amazing. And now on to the red flags. And yes, even a movie as great as this did have its red flags, which kind of shocked me in a way. The first red flag I want to get in is to the humor. I mean, that was the one thing I wasn't expecting in this movie, like, in humor. Because this is a historical epic war film, and I mean, I don't know why they would need to put humor in this movie. I mean, some of it was kind of unnecessary, but I mean, if humor kind of like flows naturally into the film, even though it's like not meant to be there and it like comes out as humorous, then that's fine because it kind of flowed naturally together. But when you put unnecessary humor in there, it just feels a little, don't know why that was there. I mean, also part of the editing is what made it humorous because there were certain lines that I heard in the trailer that actually were put in different scenes that I wasn't expecting, that originally made the trailer look amazingly and make Napoleon sound badass, but then later you hear that line again and it wasn't meant to be for that scene. Though the humor, I can look around that. I mean, that wasn't really a big thing I was, kind of upset about. I just found it kind of unnecessary because I wasn't expecting it. But the main issue that this movie had was pacing, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been hearing that, of course, because I know that before I even did my review, I was already hearing, before I even saw the movie at that, I was hearing that this movie was having problems with pacing, and it does. Especially when things are moving from year to year. But here's what I have to say about the pacing. It feels like the movie was being stretched. Like trying to be stretched to its thinnest limit before moving on. And in that, it actually felt like the movie was longer. So, I mean, the movie's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long. But also, before I went to see this movie, I already knew that Ridley Scott actually had a 4-hour director's cut ready to go. So, I mean, that's over an hour taken out of this movie. So, I mean, right there, that could be the main problem. Let me give an example on how this 4-hour director's cut could probably fix the pacing issue that Napoleon has. When I went to see Killers of the Flower Moon, that movie was 3.5 hours long, and I was really not expecting that movie to be that long. But when I went to see it, the time just blew by so quick because I was so engrossed in that movie. It felt like it was actually only 2 hours. And I mean, I left that movie theater very happy because that movie was great. So, I mean, even if the movie is like super long, if it fixes the messy pacing issue and everything flows more naturally, that I can get engrossed into the movie that much, that the time just flies by, then I'm more than happy. But of course, if it doesn't fix the messy pacing issue and it just makes the movie longer, then the movie's got another problem. And the only thing I can really say is, well, see why that wasn't in the theatrical version. Overall, though, aside from the pacing mess, I think that Napoleon actually has a lot going for it, and it was just an epic movie. I mean, Phoenix and Kirby's performances, the great action choreography, the amazing costumes they use, the sets. The movie actually has a lot going for it, and it does not disappoint. Definitely, I will say Kirby and Phoenix will be up for an Oscar, in my opinion, for best actor and actress. Though, I don't know if Phoenix will win, but I do have a good feeling Vanessa Kirby's not going to win, because even though her performance was astonishing, not going to deny that, I still think that Lily Gladstone's going to win with her performance from Killers of the Flower Moon. Also, I'd like to say that I don't think this movie will win Film of the Year, but will definitely be nominated. Like I said back in one of my older videos, that the 3 films to look out for Film of the Year was going to be Nolan's Oppenheimer, Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, and Napoleon from Ridley Scott. Let's take that one out, because I don't think it can best either one of the other two. Though, I mean, if that director's cut fixes everything, then that would be good too, but they're going to be going by the theatrical version. But for right now, until I see that director's cut, I'm going to give Napoleon an A-. Hopefully that the director's cut will fix that grade, though. Alright, well, that about wraps up this film review. If you guys have seen Napoleon, please comment down below what your thoughts were on it. Also, if you like my other videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time!